Everybody, welcome to Take the Black Live. Cheryl, myself, Dan Selke of WintersComing.net and Cheryl Walsner of Cultures.com. Talk about the latest in Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, genre fiction. Cheryl, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Dan Selke?
Pretty well. And of course, today we are talking about the latest Game of Thrones episode and previewing episode 803, still untitled, the barn-burning, spectacular Battle of Winterfell episode.
I'm not ready, but I have days to prepare myself, and I will make myself fine.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm also exhausted in advance because it's gonna be draining. It's gonna be emotionally draining and also very long. Hey, everybody who's watching us. Hey, Lisa, Renee, Lori, Leah, Adam, David, Karen, Cindy, Christian, and of course, Julie. Good to have you all with us. So what we're going to do today is quickly kind of break down some highlights from the last episode, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I think the fandom at large has agreed is pretty great. It's gone over very, very well.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful because it was a slower pace, kind of character-driven thing, which we haven't had in a while. I thought we needed something like that.
Yes.
Just because, honest to God, it made me remember why I liked the characters, which I think is important because when they start killing them off, now I'm going to feel more than I would have. I mean, I was already invested, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was a really smart move to kind of scale back and just slow things down and just sort of say this long goodbye to them. And just, again, re-up our investment. It was definitely a canny move.
Yes. It also gave us, the greatest meme in Daenerys' face, where she's doing that, crinkled eye smile. That's a top-tier meme because you have seen that face. We all know that face.
There's always memes every time, but yeah,
it was a top-tier meme.
Okay, really quick, though. Most of the episode, which I liked, was just sort of people hanging out.
Yep.
But there were a couple of conflicts still brewing. I mean, it's Game of Thrones. We got to set up some stuff. Beyond just the White Walkers and kill everybody, which is obviously the big one, let's hit really quickly that Daenerys-Sansa scene, where they get together. Daenerys extends a bit of an olive branch to Sansa. They've been having some problems, some tensions. And she tries to hammer it out, just says, look, we got off on the wrong foot. This is misunderstood. We have things in common. We're both women in power. We both like your brother a whole lot. Which, all true.
Yeah.
But they kind of took 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or even 2 steps back. Because at the end of it, Sansa's still okay, great. We have things in common. That's nice. Do you want to give the North independence?
Yeah.
Want to do that? And then, this episode was full of people interrupting tense moments before they could really get hashed out. Daenerys took her hand off Sansa, so it's a no.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where they left it.
Right.
Where is this going? How do these women resolve this conflict, or do they?
I don't know if they can. So every week I do on Culturist this costume analysis, and I focused on this scene between Daenerys and Sansa.
It's really good.
And thank you. I worked hard on it. But to kind of give a briefer version of it, and then you can go read the whole thing if you like. These women are dressed very similarly, but in also very conflicting ways. So it's down to the materials. Sansa's wearing armor and Daenerys isn't.
Sure.
There's a lot going on in even that visual sense that tells us that these women are in discord. They are not matching up. They're not telling the same story, or they're not on the same page.
Right.
Even as they have very similar hair shapes, even as they have the similar strong shoulders, all of that, they're still not quite synced up. And if visually speaking, the story that we're being told here is that they're not on the same page, and they're going to continue to be not on the same page based on how Daenerys goes back to the big white fur coat at the end, and and Sansa is still in the armor with her cloak on over it. So there's a whole lot of visual discord there that I don't think is going to be resolved, and if it is, I will be interested to see how they do it, to say the least.
Visually, or in terms of the
in terms of storytelling,
plot, or both?
Both, but more in terms of storytelling,
Sure.
because right now we're just seeing conflict
Right. We are.
on every level.
Lisa says that Dany hates how she can't control Sansa,
Yes.
which is probably very true.
Yes.
By the way, Kathleen, what is the website? Culturist.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Culturist.com. Yes.
Thank you.
Culturess.
Yes.
All
Culture
right.
with 2 S's on the end.
Do you think that there's a scenario where there's a compromise here? Like, could Daenerys be content with 6 kingdoms?
No.
No?
Not as she's being presented right now. We have talked about this on Wick Club.
We do.
About how she's being portrayed in this very ruthless way right now, as opposed to this, even as she's trying to show this very gentle face to Sansa, this very kind face, it turns on a dime. And so I think that, no, I don't think there's a compromise to be had just yet.
What if there's one way to do it? What if Jon and Dany could marry, rule together, then the North is ruled by a Northerner, or at least half of a ruling couple, but that could have problems too because of the other conflict we've seen in this episode, which is also Daenerys focused, and also with another member of the Stark family. Well, sort of the Stark family.
He's a member of the
whole
Stark
thing.
family. It's complicated.
The other, and it's funny because this scene is actually very similar to the Sansa-Jon scene in that it's interrupted by something before they really hash out the problem.
Right.
This time by hordes of dead people, not Maester Wolken walking in being like, hey, someone's at the door.
My lady. Yeah, no.
So Jon tells, the big one, Jon tells Dany the secret. I'm Aegon Targaryen. I'm your brother's son, Lyanna Stark, Rhaegar Targaryen. I'm your nephew. All these actually say that. No one just says we're aunt and nephew. It's weird. I'm waiting for that. And as is pointed out, Dany reacts badly because she's now has a rival for the Iron Throne. Her go-to is, you have a claim to the throne. That's what's threatening her.
Right.
That's what she sees as a problem here. Jon doesn't say anything. Apparently, he's disturbed by the incest. I'm wondering, people, did you get that? Because I watched that scene. According to the actors in an interview, they said Daenerys is upset because she's a rival for the throne. Jon's upset because he's, screwing his aunt. Two problems. But I didn't really get Jon's perspective on it. But it doesn't really matter anyway because then the White Walkers come and they can't resolve it. Do you think... So, okay, there's clearly some unresolved issues.
That puts it mildly.
And now, just, as in true dramatic fashion, now they're fighting a horde of zombies. Do you think that tension will manifest itself in this giant battle, perhaps?
I think it could.
Might it screw things up?
Nothing is going to go right in this battle, and we all need to prepare for it now. That is the simplest thing that I can say. But I think there is this same kind of discord, and with Jon so new to dragon riding and so new to having dragons kind of be helpful, I think it could mess things up.
They did show him riding a dragon in the first episode, so you figure that'll come into play somehow.
Yes, I think it will. I think it's possible.
What about this? What if he's not riding a dragon, he's fighting on the ground, Daenerys is riding overhead, and she has a big rock in Drogon's claw, and she's like, you know what? You know what I could do?
Oh my God.
I could just...
That would be the worst. I would hate that.
Really?
Unironically would hate that.
Maybe I just, whoopsie.
That would be the worst.
The rival claim to the Iron Throne is gone.
Why would you do this, Dan? Why would you do
You
this?
think that'd be funny?
I mean, it would be funny, but it would kind of ruin the last 3 episodes in terms of narrative tension.
It would certainly change how we look at Daenerys.
Yeah.
I don't think, obviously, it'll go that far.
Right.
There's bigger things to worry about. But, Lisa had that thought. I wondered. Or maybe if she flies over Sansa's tower, what if I just kind of smacked it? And I'm like, oops, the White Walkers did it.
Honestly, you know how when Gendry and Arya get together, there's that scene later where Gendry is fast asleep and Arya is wide awake?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What if the next time she just smothers him while he's sleeping?
Why would she do that?
Because it would be...
Force of habit?
Yeah! She's done it before. She knows how to smother somebody.
I'm sure she learned a bit about it in this
she's
life.
got some smuggling or smothering experience.
I mean, so I don't think that's going to happen, obviously, but I do think it's possible that maybe there'll be some tension on the battlefield, and maybe they'll divide their armies somehow when they shouldn't be. It's not a good idea to.
Yeah.
It could be interesting if that's the reason they lose this. But by the way, I'm 100% assuming they lose this battle. Are you assuming that?
Yes.
Because we have another half season to go.
Yes.
They can't win.
They
all
really
of a sudden.
can't win. They can't win. Like,
Okay.
it's not gonna happen, guys.
And finally, so those were really the two big conflicts besides Jaime being kind of judged, not guilty-ish at the beginning, and just able to walk around, and that was resolved. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
As at the top of the episode, the thing I loved most about this episode was just the laid-backness of it. As I said, we needed it. I think we all loved the Jaime Knights Brienne scene. A great kind of payoff to her seasons-long character arc. That whole scene where they were just drinking and talking like it was some kind of like house party, like a really chill, like you're 2 a.m. drinking around on a cold night with your buddies and just sort of singing songs and, hey, what if I knighted you? That's crazy. No, I could do it. I loved the vibe of it. I thought we needed it. I thought it was a good way to reconnect with the characters.
Yes.
And it has me scared anew before
Oh, for sure.
the battle, which Matt, that is quite a last name, Matt. I'm just trying to say, I like this. Matt Azimakapopoulos. No, Matt Azimakopoulos. All right.
You did it.
Give us happy
Maybe.
moments where everyone is killed, which I think is right.
Yes.
But again, we need that because they want us to, bawl our eyes out when these people die. So it's important to kind of have that laid back. And by the way, it flies in the face of all those criticisms about Game of Thrones going too fast, which I think are kind of valid in some points, but not here. They
No.
definitely slowed things down. They definitely let it breathe. That's the cliche I'm looking for. They let it breathe. And I thought it paid off very nicely.
I just loved how more people kept showing up to Tyrion's little drinking alone party.
With Tyrion and Jaime.
Well, Tyrion and Jaime's drinking alone party. Like, they had all the invitations printed and then nobody came, but then people decided they had nothing better else to do. So they just kind of showed up and made it a party, question mark.
The way that they justified it was they were all looking for warmth.
I
like
know,
there's a
which
fire.
was kind of...
They did slip that in. It
Yeah.
wasn't like they had a thing for it. It was, basically, it was.
It was
We would like all these characters to talk to each other.
It was a
Let's
little
give them an excuse
flimsy,
to get
but
them around.
I'll allow it.
But it was
considering
there.
How cold it is. Yeah.
It is awfully cold. I also really like the way they misted Gendry and Arya's breath in their scenes together because it's so cold.
I know.
Attention to details, what that is.
Yeah, it's great.
And Lisa loved all the humor in the episode. I did too. I thought Tyrion
Right.
was funny, as funny as he's been in a long time here.
Right.
I loved him where Brienne tells Pod you can have half a cup of wine, and Tyrion just fills it up to the brim, just like, here, just don't tell anybody.
It's fine, kid.
That was great. It was more, but I also really liked him smiling despite himself, and it's like, maybe I'll die and become a zombie and go kill Cersei.
Like, that's the kind of morbid humor that we need in this kind of episode.
That's some good Game of Thrones humor for you.
Yeah, they're confronting their mortality in a semi-healthy way. Semi-healthy.
And of course, Tormund was
Yeah.
a laugh machine as always. He's good on me too.
Tormund's awkward story about why he has the name Giant's
The
Bane.
hell, man.
Look, there is one guy like that at every party.
That's true. Everybody needs a Tormund.
Every party needs a Tormund.
My fave bit was when he, when the Ninth Watchman came back to Castle Black and he just burst out of frame left and just bear hugged Jon out of nowhere. That was pretty funny.
Because Tormund is that guy. He is that guy that does those things. And it's great. And I love Christopher Hivju for doing all of that.
He's very good. All right. But now let's move on to episode 803. No idea what it's called. They're not going to tell us. That's just the way they're rolling nowadays.
Question mark?
It's going to be horrible. It's going to be death-defying. Why don't we play the trailer and see what we're in for?
Roll it.
No, we're not going to do that. Okay, cool. Just a second.
second.
Thanks so much for watching, people.
Yeah.
We watched the trailer for episode 803. We can do it, right? We can do it.
We have the
We can
technology.
do it.
There we go. It's okay.
The most heroic thing we can do now is look the truth in the face.
The Night King is coming.
The dead are already here.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously, pretty intense. The most intriguing thing about it to me, I mean, they're not going to give away anything huge, clearly.
Well, no.
The most intriguing about it to me is the inside shots. We got we got the Hound and Barrack prowling the halls with their swords out, which is giving rise to this whole theory that the Night King is going to, or someone is going to, raise the dead Starks from the crypt, because I think it's pretty clear that they get inside Winterfell somehow.
Yes.
I don't know quite how it's going to happen. My guess is Stark dead, raised in the crypts, because they keep saying how safe the crypts are. And look, we've watched TV before, okay? We know that means they're not safe. So it'll be unfortunate, it'll be spooky, but it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And it could be... Would that be a cheat if it happens?
No.
No?
Probably not.
I mean, you have to ask, why no one thought of it.
I mean, I feel like they thought that perhaps they think that the Night King or whoever has to be able to at least see some of the corpses that he's raising.
That's true. Vague rules are a writer's best friend.
That's right.
About how does resurrection work? How does Melisandre's powers work? It's really just don't define it. Then you can't break the rules.
Exactly. And you know what how decomposed a corpse can you raise? That was the other
Right.
question that's kind of going around. But I don't think it would be a cheat, especially because now that everybody's theorizing about it, I think it will do a lot to give this oncoming sense of dread. Even as we're watching this very intense battle scene, there's this creeping dread that something else is going to happen, something else is going to happen, something else is going to happen.
Sure.
Kind of the same way that they did with Blackwater, with all the interior shots. You know,
Which is great. That episode's still so good about balancing the outside and the inside.
Exactly. And, you know, with Miguel Sapochnik doing this, I think he will have a great time. Like, he seems to have had a very interesting time creating this episode. He's kind of talked before about the emphasis between how do I keep this interesting. So what are you laughing at over there?
That Julie says, why doesn't Bran just cut off his arm? You know, to stop the Night King from finding him, his mark.
Narrative. Like, maybe Bran wants to keep the two limbs that still work.
That's right. He's us with the one limb. Yeah. I mean, those kind of questions are the kind of thing that you just, you can always ask them and just, and again, but vague rules.
Vague rules.
Just keep the rules vague. Like, he touched Bran there. He's just touched forever now.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. Or does it? You don't know. Nobody knows.
Exactly. You know, it might be like the zombie bite rule, where you cut like the limb off that gets bitten, but if you do it quickly enough, the bite doesn't spread. But you know, it's been a while since Bran got marked, so that doesn't work anymore. He's infected.
Is that Walking Dead rules or George Romero rules or all zombie rules?
It's more Walking Dead rules.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's appeared in other forms of zombie fiction as well.
Yeah, just aspiring writers out there, vague rules are your best friend.
Pretty much.
When you're doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have some photos from the episode we can take a look at. We got John and Dany here overlooking the battlefield on the bluffs. Why are they up there, Cheryl? Why are they up there?
Because they're gonna put Jon on Dragonback too.
Oh, quite possible.
That was the theory that I put forward on Culturist. But I like this shot because it's very well composed.
Painterly.
Yeah. Very stark. Yeah. But you can see how well lit Winterfell is and the defenders are, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because A, you can see what you're doing, but B, then you can see what's coming for you, which is not pleasant because it's hordes of the dead.
I mean, who even knows if they can see it all? Yeah.
We sure won't.
Again,
the episode's so
rules
dark.
vague. I'm actually kind of worried about that.
I know.
Like, Game of Thrones is a dark show. Like, God knows why. They can afford all the lights in the world if they want to.
Yeah.
But they keep it natural, which, I mean, you know, good for you. I'm sure it's really pleasing your Cinema Verite, Dog 95 principles. But, I mean, sometimes that show is dark.
Yeah.
And a battle at night, and the trailer looks very dark. I hope they don't lose the action in it. Now, they're very, very good. They're at the top of their game. I'm sure they have a method to their madness. I just, I I hope I don't have to strain my eyes the entire time.
Yeah, that'd be nice. You know, I'm nearsighted enough. I don't need more problems just because I like watching Game of Thrones. Come on, guys.
It's a very nice image.
It is.
And I think you're probably right. They're probably out there to mount a dragon attack. They must get there by the dragons, because if the zombies are out there, they can't, like, walk through their army.
Right.
They got to fly. Or I wonder how they're going to deal with... See, there's another example of don't give yourself rules. How they're going to... Because no one's mentioned, like, what do we do about the Night King's javelin throwing powers? Why'd you have him do that, dudes? Now you have to work around that problem.
Maybe if two of them are flying, then we can both...
We can split up.
Yeah, and if there's a second rider, we can get away from it.
See, I wish I didn't think about that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Again, that's why I encourage all storytellers, just keep it vague. Don't tell me this stuff. Then I can't call out if I don't want to.
Right.
Okay. Another photo. We got Sansa and Arya on the battlements. They have not had a scene together yet this season. So that'll be nice.
Yeah.
You know, we assume they're both on the same side with each other. They're kind of in the Dany conflict space. You know, this puts it into perspective. But do you think either of them will die?
If the show kills Sansa, I'm going to be very upset.
The show kills Arya, I'll be very upset.
Yeah, like...
We have a lot of emotional investment in these two people.
We do have a lot of emotional investment in these characters. I think that it would be powerful.
She looks pretty scared, by the way.
Wouldn't you be scared if it was a freaking army of the dead coming for your ancestral home, Dan Selke?
Yeah, but I bet Arya has this face on.
I don't know about that.
She always does.
She looks terrified. We saw that in the trailer again.
We did, but that's when she's underground.
Well, yeah, but, you know, she's capable of being afraid.
She
so.
is, yes.
Yeah, no, they look pretty scared. There's another
Whoa.
photo of them of Sansa specifically, where she's by herself in the crypt.
Right.
So we know she goes back down there, at least. So she's
Yeah, that makes sense.
in less danger, maybe.
They're safe.
Yeah, they're safe. But what are you oohing and eyeing at over there?
Roseanne Jones, did Gilly or Daenerys look pregnant? Will Arya become pregnant? I don't know. They won't go that. Will they? They wouldn't, would they? After one night with Gendry, she gets pregnant?
I mean, it only takes once.
I suppose. I don't know. You never know. I don't want everybody to come pregnant in this last go.
No, that'd be sad.
It'll be sad.
Boy.
Daenerys, maybe, because they've teased the whole I can't have children thing quite a bit.
Right.
So I can see that coming.
Yeah.
I don't see them going that way with Arya. I think this scene was very much about Arya's just having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
It happens in teen comedies. Why can't it happen to her? She wants to know what it's like before the end of the world.
Yeah. Get it, girl.
Forget it, girl. Very good scene.
Get it, girl.
So I don't see it happening, but maybe. Yeah, you never know. Maybe Jaime's pregnant. That could happen. That'd be a twist.
You don't... That's a fanfic trope. You know that, right?
No.
Mpreg?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is!
Mpreg?
Yeah!
So that's male pregnancy?
Yeah!
That's a thing?
Yes!
Okay, I have questions for you later, but I'm not sure we can talk about
I
it
think
here.
I just broke his brain, everybody.
So, like, okay.
No,
I'm sorry.
no, bring it back, bring it back.
No. Quick sidebar. Just, okay, so an Mpreg story would be like, what? Like, what's
I don't
it about?
read them, I just know
Jaime
that
and
they
Brienne have sex, then Jaime wakes
No,
up pregnant?
I don't know. I don't read them, I just know they exist.
Okay.
I have taste.
If anybody out there knows about this, please comment about it. Christian asked, is he a seahorse? Okay.
Yeah, that's the Mr. Seahorse is the name of the trope on TV Tropes, actually.
What the hell?
Okay, guys.
Oh, the internet's so wonderful and weird.
Oh,
Okay.
God. Okay. What's the next picture? Can we see the next picture?
Okay, the next picture
Let's
is
just move on.
Tyrion and Varys in the crypts.
Okay.
That is definitely in the crypts,
Yes.
on the battlements. Sansa's on the battlements there, by the way. She's not in the crypts. Maybe she's, I don't know, moving beyond up and down or something.
No. I'm talking about the picture of her by herself.
Oh, I know, but that one with Arya. is
Oh,
on the
yes, that's on the
battlements.
battlements.
This one in the crypts, clearly.
Yes.
Tyrion and Varys hanging out. Tyrion's taken his queen's advice, going down
Yes.
to be with the people because his brain's too valuable, according to her. Which, I liked that too, by the way, because among fans, people were saying, like, Tyrion's messing up a lot lately. And whether it's just a lampshade moment where they acknowledge it, or whether that's actually going somewhere. It was good to hear it talked about.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I see them staying down there, or at least Tyrion staying down there.
Yeah.
He'll try to come up. Although, really, it does make the most sense for him to stay down there. He's not going to be... Then again, his one-handed brother apparently is on the front line, so maybe he does have a point.
Yeah, well, his one-handed brother is at least a former Knight of the King's Guard, so...
That's true. There's also a picture of him. There's another picture of Brienne and him on the front lines, her yelling and him looking like scared crapless.
I know. Like, he's terrified. It's great.
It's pretty great. So it's going to be intense. Okay, if you had to... I like Jorah backing him up, says Matt Azimakopoulos. Okay. Got it right 2 times in a row. Great. If you had to name one character who was off limits for death...
Okay.
And one character who you think is... No, wait, 2 characters each. 2 characters who are off limits.
Okay.
And 2 characters who think could probably die.
Okay.
Name them.
Ooh, tough question.
And it goes for you too, folks. Name your people.
I will mark Theon Greyjoy
For off limits or for death?
for death.
Okay.
And I will mark Jorah Mormont for death.
Fair.
And Sansa and Arya are off limits for
Okay.
death. If Sansa and Arya die, I riot on
What if
Twitter.
one of them dies?
Still rioting on Twitter.
Okay, so write it on Twitter. All caps.
All caps everywhere. Caps, caps, caps.
According to Christian, Liv, Tyrion, and Arya. And it looks like Theon and Grey Worm for Demonic are dead. Okay.
That's fair.
Jon and Sansa off limits for Laura. Okay, we're getting lots of off limits. Dan and Jon and Dany. Dan Turton, the Hound is off limits for Clegane Bowl. That's very true. I would
House got
say
more chicken to eat, guys.
for dead, I'm gonna go with. Oh, I mean, I hate to say it, but Jorah seems like he's just marching into something.
You're the future of House Mormont. Yeah, you're dead.
Oh, he did say that.
He
didn't
did. He's done
Yeah,
for.
He's dead. He's had a long life.
Oh my god.
So probably Jorah. You know, he'll go doing what he loves, fighting for his queen.
Yeah.
Who else is probably gonna die?
He will die friend zoned.
I will say, I mean, Dolores Ed is too obvious. Grey Worm, again, not something I want, because I like him, and I like him in Missandei.
Yeah.
Probably off limits. Sam, I'm going to say, because frankly, especially
Bold
the last
choice.
episode and this one too, the last 2, I've
Bold choice.
liked Sam more than I have, or I mean, I always liked Sam, but
Yeah.
just he's hit me in the feels. That crying scene in the first one,
Oh my God.
I felt for him. So
Same.
don't hurt Sam. And yeah, Sansa. I'll agree with Sansa. Come on. She's been through enough. Don't do it yet.
She's been through enough, guys. Can we just leave her be for once?
And Julie is Liv, John, Dany. Okay, Chad has a great question before we move on. Let's talk about Melisandre for a second. Where is she?
She's going to be the slightly evil version of Gandalf.
Oh, really? They're just gonna ride over the hill with the fiery hand army and help out?
Yes. Yes, they do.
I would be down for that.
Okay, because they keep referring to the Battle of Helm's Deep as their big reference point for how to make this cool and interesting. That's what happens. Gandalf rides in.
It's also what happens in the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah,
They don't want to repeat themselves.
but it's still different. Like, maybe Melisandre shows up and she gets, like, completely clowned. Like,
Okay, maybe that's the twist.
that's the twist. She gets
Gandalf
clowned.
comes and just immediately gets like smacked in the face with a mallet and just goes down.
Yeah. She gets jobbed. Like, it's done.
Yeah, maybe.
That's all I got for you here.
There's one fun rumor.
Yes.
Again, this isn't a rumor. This is a theory, fan theory.
Okay.
That what if she's like already among them, but just doesn't have her necklace on, and just has been here the whole time in disguise.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm just gonna put it on and be like, I've been here the whole time, bitches. Fire magic. Light these guys up. Because we know she's gonna show up eventually. We know that she has had a character poster. We know she's
yes.
in this season.
Yes.
I'm curious about her.
Yes.
Because I mean, she's always been a bit of a wild card game change potential person.
Yes.
I mean, she can birth a shadow baby. She can make she can make it stop snowing. She has some power.
She has some skills.
You want her on your side.
Yes.
I don't know when she's going to show up. But yes, I do want to see her, so I'm very curious.
I'm still just trying not to lose it over. I've been here this whole time, fire magic.
Why not?
It's
Because
fine.
she can't make herself known because then Davos and John would execute her. for
Well,
a
yeah.
murder.
Well, yeah, but they just seriously.
Why not?
How? Okay, if you're that old,
Yeah.
moving around is not very easy.
She's managed it.
Neither is moving. Okay, but if you don't have your magic necklace on,
Well, we don't know. Again, this is again the rule stuff. Once again, this is so important.
that's true.
We don't know if she's always old or just looks nice, or if that literally gives her like more mobility in her legs. Maybe she's old all the time, and she just looks nice, and she always has the mobility.
Wow, I think you just
Keep it vague.
writing advice from yours, Dan and me. But yes, maybe I don't know. Sure, works for me.
I love Tracy Molly McGarry's. Perhaps Melisandre is a little girl that was wanting to fight, talking to Davos at the soup table. That'd be great. She can have a glamour. She's like, I'm testing you, Davos. She made herself look like Shireen just to mess with them.
That would be top tier.
Yeah, that's my new favorite theory.
I'm
that.
into it.
And Amy thinks Melisandre needs redemption. I don't know if there's any coming back from what she did, really, but
No.
she can at least go further along and die nobly. I would probably take that.
If she can rebalance the scales
A tad, yeah.
in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to talk about for episode 803, Battle of Winterfell, whatever it ends up being called. I have my eye on Ice and Fire as an episode title. What do you think?
I feel like they might save that for the season finale because it's the series finale.
I'm almost positive the series finale will be A Dream of Spring.
Oh, that's true.
I think.
That's true. They're running out of.
And this will be, dragons versus zombies, ice versus fire, cold versus heat.
Yeah, you got a point there. You have me there. All right.
That's my guess. If any of you have any guesses, let us know. I'd be
Yeah.
curious to know your title. And finally, let's go beyond the wall for a second and talk
brief
about
moment.
just before we wrap up some other pop culture stuff because this weekend is huge.
I know.
This weekend is maybe, the way they're setting the Game of Thrones episode up, this could be, and I almost don't want to say this because I don't want my expectations to get too high. They're selling this as like the biggest Game of Thrones episode, the one they worked on the hardest, one they spent the most time on. It's like if it doesn't knock our socks off, it'll kind of be a failure.
Yes.
It's also Avengers Endgame is opening this weekend, which is the conclusion to a, 22 movie, 11 film, 11
Infinity
years,
Saga.
sorry. The Infinity Saga.
The Infinity Saga.
Do you have any opinions on that? Are you seeing it?
I am seeing it. Funnily,
Endgame?
Yeah, I am actually seeing it on Sunday. So I will be sitting in a movie theater
damn.
for 3 hours. And then I will be coming to see Game of Thrones with you nice people.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I love pain. Apparently I love pain. So yes, and I will be on Take the Black React
You will?
afterwards. It's going to be you and me. We're going to be crying.
That's a busy day for you.
Yep. But Avengers Endgame. So the reactions are very positive
It's true.
so far. A lot of people are saying they had a very difficult job to do and they executed it well. I'm intrigued to see how they pull it off. I have read some spoilers, but
I haven't. Don't tell us
I'm
anything.
not going to tell anybody. I'm just saying I've read them, and I'm intrigued by where they're going with it so far. So
Okay.
I have my tickets. I will be seeing it. If I show up on Take the Black React like completely dressed in black, you guys will know why. But yeah, I'm excited. Are you seeing it, Dan?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Oh, you're spreading the paint out.
I'm spending the paint out, yeah. So that's still quite the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice. I can't help but know Game of Thrones spoilers because I just have to.
It's the job.
I don't know any Endgame spoilers. I'm pretty sure everyone is going to come back, which is almost just disappointing. That they're as much as they've kind of changed the game, Marvel, in terms
Right.
of killing off major characters.
Right.
At the end of the day, I think it is more beholden to the status quo than something like Game of Thrones, which kind of thrives on permanent change.
Yes.
And I don't see them letting all these very profitable superheroes stay turned into dust. So I see them coming back somehow or another.
I think
that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think my favorite reaction to that was there's this video on Tumblr of all places
Yeah.
where it's like it's three people in Deadpool, Black Panther, and Spider-Man costumes, and they're like, raise your hands if you have movies still planned, and they're all doing the cha-cha slide really well. So yeah, I mean, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit because we all knew that Black Panther 2 was happening and Spider-Man Far From Home was happening. So yeah, sure, they killed Black Panther and Spider-Man both, but they're coming back. We know that already.
Same time, I mean, like, if it's done well and the emotions are real, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. I mean, I hope it's going to be good because it's 3 hours long, guys.
They must be really confident if they're like, yeah, we're going to make it through 3 hours of this.
Yeah.
Like, they must know it's good or be mad with power. One of those two things.
Why not both? Why not both? But,
all right.
But yes, so I will be here in pain for Take the Black React on Sunday.
Although before we head out, people are asking about the Game of Thrones prequel news. Any of that? A little. There are sets going up, apparently.
Yes.
What's weird with that, and I want to talk about this in a whole episode sometime, is HBO has like a bunch of series on the horizon. It's got Watchmen. It's got Historic Materials. It's got Joss Whedon's The Never Show, which is also kind of getting up and running now. They cast somebody in the lead role. It's got J.J. Abrams' thing. It's got other stuff. It's got the Game of Thrones prequel. It hasn't ordered the Game of Thrones prequel to series yet. Why is it not making these shows jump through hoops, but it's making the Game of Thrones prequel jump through a hoop, even though it's like the only sure thing it has?
I will die on this hill.
Or we can leave that for another time.
Okay, I will briefly die on the hill.
Okay, briefly on the hill.
I will briefly die on the hill and say because the Game of Thrones pilot was so bad, and because it's not being run by Benioff and Weiss, because it's Jane Goldman running it.
Sure.
I want to make sure everything is hunky-dory.
Whereas there's no risk in letting Joss Whedon run a show.
Oh, there absolutely is risk in letting Joss Whedon run a show.
Yeah,
They're just being, I know, it was sarcasm. But for those of us who are listening to our podcast.
Which is available on iTunes and on iTunes.
Yeah, available in many podcast places.
Yes, the podcast is sold.
Yeah, there is definitely risk in it, but Joss Whedon is at least more of a proven person in terms of making good TV.
I mean, come around, he made the first two Avengers movies.
Yeah, he did.
He's a very, I think, it's a very interesting, contradictory figure.
Yes.
We can talk about him some other time.
We can.
Corinne quotes you, by the way, Cheryl. I will briefly die on this hill. So good. That can be a thing for you now.
Oh, great. Thanks, guys.
Nicole thinks Westworld sucks. Not going to disagree with you too much. Christine says Joss Whedon is awesome. Christine, I grew up loving Joss Whedon stuff. I'd love to do a deep dive on just where do we stand on that dude. Because it's interesting.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about that dude.
Okay, and I think we can sign off. Any other questions you guys have, get them up now, and we'll be back. We'll be back this Sunday after the episode to do Take the Black React to see the newest Game of Thrones episode. We're going to talk all about it, break it all down. Cheryl, you'll be here this week. Looking forward to that. And I'll be back next Wednesday at 4 p.m. to do Take the Black Live, our normal show. We'll look forward to the next episode, research the other one, and answer you guys' questions. It's an exciting time to be into this kind of crap.
Yeah, it is. We are not ready. We are very ready, but we're not ready at the same time.
All right. You can see us on iTunes if you want to listen to this in the car or at the gym or elsewhere.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.